taking over 19. Hey, back, hit a quarter million. When it's here, pretty chilly. I've been trying to find me really wow. Silly, yo, I be gone like Cheerio. Really though, swear we finna get the gold. You the goat, but the most been getting old. Standing still, yeah, I'm getting way too cold. Like it's uno dos, I go single on these hoes. Doesn't songs, doesn't shows. Guess that's just one way to grow.
What is up? Dynasty Degens coming in hot. This is the Rookie Profiler series where we are just kind of, now that rookie series is almost over, we're just diving into whatever feels right. Today we're talking about wide receiver steals in rookie drafts. So not just your rookie drafts, but dynasty startups, whatever you're doing. These guys are free, essentially. You can get them off the waiver. You can get them in the 4th round, 5th round, maybe even 6th round. If you guys do that, you go crazy. I know you're Degen, so you're probably going deep into these rookie drafts. But before we get into that, I have a guest that needs no introduction. My man, if you asked for his number 2 years ago, it would have been 1-800 big time. Now, if you ask for his number now, he's going to say, talk to my agent. This is my man, LQ at Fantasy Network. He's all over the place. You know him. He's got the great content. He's even a better human than the content he produces. So if you don't know him, go check him out at TheRealDealFantasy. LQ, what's up, brother?
What's going on, bro? I love the introduction. You are the total worst. I am not big time whatsoever, bro. But
dude, you're big time, man. Honestly, anybody that's big time, the first thing they're gonna say is I'm not big time. People that aren't big time say I'm big time. So
that is true.
Yeah. So really, we're talking about a big time guy that is modest, and that's exactly what big time guys are most of the time. You know, so.
I am the utmost humble. I know I'm probably my worst critic. I'm my worst enemy sometimes, but I feel as though I'm not big time until I hit those goals. And the work ethic in me, knowing I would never have that satisfying, feeling of being fed to where I'm going to put my head down and grind as far as I can go. So even the moon, even Mars is not even nowhere near or where I'll be satisfied. So I do appreciate you saying those things, man. It definitely keeps me hungry.
I think you're on the moon now. So I think, yeah, Mars is the next step. I appreciate you still talking to guys on the Earth, though.
Listen, I'm going to be on Earth. Nothing's going to change other than hopefully my bankroll. That's the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that
baby. I mean, at this point in time, right, you're doing everything that you need to do. The content comes, but you got to get paid, man. You got to see some money.
Yeah.
This is all for fun and I enjoy it thoroughly, but if it's taken away from actual money, it better make me some money, right?
Oh yeah, man. If it's taking away time, you better be replacing that with some money, some green, some moolah.
Yeah, but let's get into it, man. So we are talking the dynasty wide receivers that may have gotten faded, whether it's they got bad draft capital, they weren't really valued in your rookie drafts, they're kind of sitting around, they might be in a spot where they're back end wide receiver 4-5s, whatever it is on their team, but they are values. We are talking ultimate values right now. The first guy is Mr. Elic Ayonomar, wide receiver out of Tennessee. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I put Tennessee on. Well, he's on Tennessee. Excuse me. Tennessee. He's on Stanford. Yeah, I know Tennessee was somewhere in there, but yeah. So he's on Tennessee. And dude, I like this guy's profile. I like him as a prospect. He got drafted in the 4th round, and you get him in the 4th, sometimes on the waiver wire in rookie drafts, right? And he showed out. He did well. He has his flaws, he has his issues, but he's a good polished route runner. You know what I mean? He's a good contested catch monster. Everyone wants to go towards his back end year there where he went against Travis Hunter and he had that monster game against him. That's really what people pull up when they talk about him. You like this guy? You like him as a nice stab in rookie drafts?
Absolutely. And the crazy thing is, before the draft even happened, I was talking about this guy. I'm like, who is this guy? Why do I keep seeing him pop up on my YouTube feed when I'm trying to sit here and crunch some film? And I'm like, let me check him out. And then my first impression, right? I don't like to look at the numbers at first. Let me just put it on the tape and see if this guy can ball. So when I got the first impression, I'm like, damn, this guy has some moves, man. Like he could be a valuable X. Like I could really see him in Tennessee working out that X factor. Like you have Lockett there, you have Van Jefferson. These are guys we've kind of seen in the league. We know what we're gonna get. But he has this little X factor in him where he could pull up and grab a one-hander out of the air. He can make the big plays. And this is kind of what Tennessee has been missing. Like you have Calvin Ridley there. We know what he is. He's the alpha. He's the one. We have a guy that can just blow by you. He could be very intermediate and short to the line of scrimmage. And then you have Elic Ayonomar there. And it's like, oh, we have another playmaker on offense with now Cam Ward at quarterback that can move around in that pocket a lot better. Just having, that guy in the pocket versus you having Will Levis that doesn't really have that pocket awareness that Cam Ward has. So you're going to have a guy that can really work off the line. He might not get the greatest separation, but that's fine. You have Cam Ward that can extend the plays. And once Elic Ayonomar gets open, there's one thing in his game, the one trait that I saw, he knows where to be at. And at that time, and he can make the play and adjust. So last season, a lot of his production wasn't like as screaming off the paper like it was in 23, but I blame that on the quarterback, to be honest. Like it was just kind of the quarterback play that just took a step back. And overall, for him to still shine with that type of production, with that limited production that we saw, last season, he is in a situation now where he could really thrive. And being with Brian Callen, he kind of knows how to use his X wide receivers. We saw him with the Bengals, how he was able to utilize T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Not saying that Calvin Ridley and Elic Ayonomar are going to be the next Jamar Chase or T. Higgins, but the fact that they're going to be utilized as such, they can just flourish in their own ways and see how this offense pops.
Yeah, man, I think you nailed that completely. And we all want to talk about the depth chart. We want to talk about Tennessee, how they just lack any offensive weapons at all. We're talking about a wide open depth chart where there's Lockett, like Lockett could have year one value. It's just like, Burks, there's nothing there. You need that guy that's going to open up the offense. And I think that's exactly what Ayonomar can be. I think that he could jump. When you look at the depth chart, it's Ridley, Lockett, Burks, and then it's Jefferson, Dyke, and then Ayonomar. And it's like, I could see him as the wide receiver 2 with that team, right? Like you could see him and you could be a Burks truther all your life, but you can just tell that he fits this offense much better than anybody else.
With Van Jefferson, he's the one that I would worry about being a deep threat. Like that is something that we showed. I say we as a Rams fan, like that we exposed that, he could be a deep threat. He could be a guy that could stretch the field and get behind a defender. That's the only thing that I think he has a one up on Elic Ayonomar. Not saying he can't do it, but Van Jefferson has been doing it for a while now. When he was with LA, with the Falcons, and now with Tennessee, he would even spend some time with the Steelers last season as well. He kind of was more so as the deep threat. That's the only thing that I think that will kind of hold Elic Ayonomar off the field. But again, we're talking about a guy you're getting in the 4th round. Patience needs to be key here with these rookie drafts because, again, we're talking about the value that you're going to get on the guy that could potentially be a wide receiver 2. So it's like I'm not going to take these shots on some of the, rookie wide receivers that we all had to hype for, preseason. And I would say with, Isaiah Bond with his situation, he's an undrafted guy. So it's like all those hypes and all those guys that we were chasing before the draft, and then we forget about the guys who were actually drafted. Elic Ayonomar is one of those guys that's not being talked about enough that you're getting in the 4th and 5th round, even undrafted, like you explained earlier.
Yeah, that's the thing. We aren't going after these guys because we love everything about them. That's not the case here. We're not talking about them because of that. We're talking about the fact that their value is nothing. They are free. They are guys that you can take shots on and possibly have all of the value just flourish. Like they're in perfect situations and they're not bad prospects by any means. Let's kick it back to another guy that I really like, and that's Tory Horton. Horton's on Seattle, and Seattle is so juicy to me. Like we see a situation play out where if you want to just take out Horton altogether, we can talk about his traits in a little while, but the situation over there is JSN and Cup. And you're Rams guy, what Cup does. They are very similar players. They are they do things very well, but the things that they do are almost the same things. Like they are working in the middle. They're you know what I mean? They're little yak kings. They do this, they do that in the middle. They're not going out deep. They're not stretching the offense a little bit. Like they work, they get their money in the middle, intermediate range of field. Horton is a deep bomb threat at all times. Horton is like the poor man's JMO. Like when I look at his game and I see him, like I think about when he went against Colorado, those games, like staying up until 3 a.m. over at my time. And I'm just like, wow. Dude, Colorado State, like those games when they're getting played in prime time and they start at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock on the West Coast. Yeah, you're up late, man. You're watching. I watched a lot of Tory Horton because I loved Shedeur. I loved that team. I loved watching them whenever they were going against Colorado State. And he is a contested catch monster. He's out there. He's a good stretch guy. He's vertical. I think he fits well into this offense. And the only guy that could be in the way of his production is MVS. And that's really the only guy, because they both are kind of similar in the way. He just has to be better than MVS to see the field. What do you think about Tory Horton in this fit? Like, I kind of spread it out a little bit, but it's Cup, it's JSN, and then, I mean, Jake Bobo. Who's going to be that third wide receiver on that team?
No, I love the situation that he's in because there is a question mark on that wide receiver 3. Like with Cup, at least in year 1, you can expect a veteran approach, a guy that knows the slot. And JSN shown that he has the ability to play outside in the slot. There's a little versatility there. But what MVS is what I fear for year 1 expectations for Horton is because MVS, when he was with the Saints, he kind of showed us in flashes that he could be more than just a deep threat because he was put in a situation where, hey, you have to be the one now. You are going up against Bud Memes and the Water Boy. You know what I mean? So, like, there needed to be some type of life. That's my only hesitation on Horton. And, like, when it comes to some of the late round guys that we're talking about, not many of us have multiple 4th round picks. Not many of us have multiple, 5th round picks. Not many of us have space when it comes to guys like someone on this list that are undrafted. He's one of the guys that you just want to have on your watch list, or if you can make the room to stash him, just have your expectations to be in year 2 and 3 and beyond, because I think there's something there with him. There's definitely that poise of him being a guy that could work in the middle of the field. There is some yak to him, and there's definitely a deep threat to him. You have Sam Darnold at the quarterback position, where I would like to place his role to match what Jordan Addison was back in Minnesota, because Jordan Addison's a deep threat as well. He doesn't always show it and flash it, but there's times where he could be very, very like lethal on the back end behind a defender. So I think more so when you're drafting guys like this that we're talking about, Horton is one of those guys that you want to have on your list. It's just more so, do you have the room, and you have to be patient with him because there's still confusion of what's going on over there in Seattle. And me as a Rams fan, I watched them very closely last season and the season beyond to know that they don't really have it together yet. There's not really an identity of that offense because we saw the crash out. Tyler Lockett ain't there no more. Geno ain't there no more. And DK ain't there no more for a reason in year 1. So it's like, new coaching staff, they're still trying to figure it out. I like that they brought in Kubiak, the son of the great Gary Kubiak, but I feel like you just have to be patient. There's something there. You want to chase talent, but don't go all 1 eggs in a basket and say, hey, this is a year 1 impact guy, but I don't know. You just have to wait.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like his skill set is MVS, like we see what he does and he has to be better. He has to do more. I think he has more talent when it comes to his route running and stuff like that, but we got to see it, man. We got to see him just kind of edge him out. But I don't know what Sam Darnold's going to look like in this offense with that offensive line. They could be a very run heavy offense and yeah, that O-line might not give him enough time to throw those deep bombs. We might be looking at a Cooper Kupp and JSN show, and then mixing in Arroyo or whoever is the tight end on that team. I think it's going to be Arroyo, but it's going to depend on the time that he has, and we might not see more than 2 options on this offense in general. But he's a stab, man. He's somebody that, especially if there's an injury in that offense, like I think wheels up. If
it's crazy, his competition is not even going to be a wide receiver. I think we're overlooking one of the factors here that I forgot to mention. It's like MVS is an obstacle, but that target share between him and Elijah Arroyo is going to be something you're going to have to watch. And that's even with MVS, because just reports today, they're loving his versatility. When you hear a guy like that, his versatility at the tight end position, he's a guy that could play short intermittent and get some yak yards. His health is going to be definitely something that's going to matter a ton, but he can also beat you vertically. And there's not a lot of tight ends out there in the NFL that can beat vertical guys. And him playing out of the slot, or even if we see him lined out freaking out wide at one point, it's going to be one of those things like, yo, this is a big playmaker guy. He's a big frame type of tight end that could beat you vertically. That's something they're going to be threatening. So again, that plays into MVS, that plays into Tory's production, that plays into opportunities as well. And we talked about a little bit with Sam Darnold. We don't know if he's going to be able to support more than two options. Like Minnesota, we got Hawkinson. That was a short little period because Hawk wasn't healthy the whole entire season, but we didn't really see him support three options. So it's one of those things like whoever pops first,
Yeah, that's the thing, like they let DK go because they might not be going for those deep throws. They might not be going for those out routes. We're talking about the Fly King. He runs straight lines, but like I think Horton does what DK does well. Like I think that's really where he gets the separation is the straight line speed. So yeah, it's like I said, these are darts, man, but I think at the range that he's going, where he could be a waiver wire pick, you gotta just hope and pray that this plays out the way that you think it's going to play out, right? All right, let's keep it moving. We got an interesting one right here. So Isaac TesLaa. So we saw what they did in Detroit. We saw they traded up for this guy, and we also saw him really just like blow up. At the combine and the
his name was buzzing.
Senior Bowl, like he was the talk of the town, and everyone's like, this guy is going to be value. He's going to be extreme value. And that's sometimes when you look at the Twitter sphere and you kind of, you're in the pulse, you're in the know. Sometimes I have guests that aren't even on Twitter and I'm just like, I can't even reference it. But you see these guys. We saw it with Puka. We see it, with certain guys that are just, Laporta when he was coming out. Everyone's like, this is the tight end you want. And he wasn't even sleeper until, week almost one of the actual NFL season. Like it was just crazy. So, we heard about this guy over and over again, and I looked into him and I was like, man, his profile is pretty good. He does things very well. I think I like a lot of the things that I saw as far as like, he's not super polished, but he has that athletic ability. He can run and catch 50-50 balls, like he has this dynamic that they don't really have in Detroit right now. And they showed you what they kind of think of him by the draft. Like he got drafted way higher than anybody ever forecasted, right? Like he was a surprise pick. He went over some guys that I had way over him, and I just had to adjust, and you have to adjust. But nobody's adjusting in these rookie drafts. Nobody's saying, oh, let's go run and grab this TesLaa guy, when they're taking undrafted, I guess, running backs at this point. They're taking guys that were 5th and 6th round drafts for wide receivers. And it's tough, man. I'm like, oh, what are you doing? You're taking all these guys over somebody that was sought out by this offense, looked at as possibly a JMO replacement or somebody that is going to be in that offense sooner rather than later. What do you know about TesLaa, man? What do you like about his game, and how do you see this fit?
So with TesLaa, like you got to understand, like Brad Holmes is a former GM for the Rams, and you got to understand when they have excitement about a player that they get, and everybody to the public, to the general public, we thought they overdrafted, but they have a plan for him. So let's talk about the value where he's going in drafts. It's either he's going in the 4th round, 5th round, whatever, just undrafted. People are missing out on the value here because, again, he may be a guy that could be very versatile. I could see him living in the slot, and people are automatically thinking like, oh, Amon-Ra St. Brown. But Amon-Ra St. Brown has proven he could be very versatile and win outside as well. So we have to understand Ben Johnson's no longer on the sticks. So there's that question mark of what they have planned. But I was talking to Jason Kabinda. Now, he made a few appearances on Good Morning Football, but I've texted him a couple of times asking him about, like, with Ben Johnson kind of out of the picture, what should we expect, from this offense. And he said that Jared Goff himself feels very confident, with what in the building on the staff, and this offense is not going to skip a beat. And I think more so you might be a little surprised of the different changes they make, but they obviously have a plan for TesLaa to go out there and be a guy that could be very versatile, a guy that could be a 50-50 ball winner, a guy that is very long in the wingspan to where you put him in the slot. He's a vertical seam threat. He's a guy that's going to be very, sneaky underneath as well. What I saw that popped out to me to understand, I know why they picked him, is again what you hit on. There might be a JMO replacement. It might be somewhere along the lines they might be utilized very similarly. And again, I think with his wingspan, man, you can't really ignore that. You can't really ignore that they have a good system over there. They have a great 1-2 punch. They have a quarterback that's very serviceable, above average, I would say. The last 2 seasons, he leads the NFL in passing yards. So obviously he's doing something right with the pieces that's around him. So I kind of want in on all these pieces, because if they're going to have that excitement of like how they drafted Sam Laporta, how they drafted JMO when he came in and finally got it going and hitting and running, I believe in everything that Dan Campbell has in that building. So it's like one of those things, like, why not buy in a high offense? Like, why not buy into an offense that has plenty of scoring opportunities with Ben Johnson there or not? You know what I mean? So I'm all in, with TesLaa. So I'm keeping him on the hush in, some of my home leagues, because, they somewhat listen to what I say on some of these podcasts. So kind of want to keep it under the wraps,
Yeah, it's tough to go on these and go live and then talk, and especially when you're in rookie drafts and dynasty drafts and stuff. Like I was just in a dynasty draft, and I don't know if my league mates are listening right now, but I did a tight end show last week, and then it was just, I was in a position where I needed a tight end, and I was waiting because in these drafts, these rookie tight ends go super late. So it's like you can get them in the 3rd round. You're just sitting there. You don't want to just jump and reach for them, but you're sitting there, you're playing the game a little bit, and I couldn't play the game because all these people listen to my content and they're like, oh, well, this guy really likes Terrence Ferguson. He likes this guy over there on the Rams right now with Stafford and the way that McVay drafted this guy with his first pick and everything. And I'm like, I gotta just be a little hush hush sometimes. I don't like doing this, but content is content, man. And I think that's what plays. We are playing on hard mode. Yeah,
I'm here to help, even if it's my league mates. I know how to navigate some of their tendencies as well.
They need the help though, right? We're fine, man. We're good the way we are. They need the help.
They definitely need the help.
Yeah, you guys need it, man. That's why we do it. So, all right, let's go one more, man. Let's go one more. All right, I know you like this guy. I like this guy a lot too. I've heard very mixed bag reactions to this guy, and people are like, "Oh, why are you going after him? Why are you doing this?" I was actually, before we do this, hold on a second. Before we talk about Pat Bryant, I got to do the plug. Hold on. Let's pull this down. All right. This is for you, Podfather. Then I'm going to talk about your takes on Pat Bryant a little bit, but let's just kick it over to you guys real quick, and then we're going to come right back.
Hey, why do we partner with the FFPC? Because they have the widest variety of fantasy football formats, and it's the easiest place to find all types of fantasy football contests in the world. What if you want to play for high stakes? Well, they have a $6 million prize pool with their Fantasy Players Championship. They also have way too early best ball leagues that start in February and dynasty leagues. They have the closest thing to a liquid market for orphans that there is in all of Dynasty. And the FFPC has sponsored us for half a decade because we are actually delivering information that can help fantasy gamers, and they're generating so much interest and bringing in so many new users, casual users even. The FFPC creates a unique experience where you can both compete against the best and make money. Use promo code UNDERWORLD to get $25 off your first team. $25 off your first team at the FFPC with promo code UNDERWORLD. Go get it!
Yeah, so use promo code UNDERWORLD or use promo code DEGEN, DEGEN. You get $25 deposit match on there. And then let's go back to Pat Bryant and let's talk about how Podfather's completely out on this guy, because I was on a pod not that long ago, and my man Matt is way out on Pat Bryant. He thinks that if you're in fast drafts and you're taking this guy in the 4th round, you're overthinking it. You're going a little too deep and you're drinking the sauce. And I disagree wholeheartedly, because I think Pat Bryant to me is crazy value. Pat Bryant to me is somebody that I am taking absolutely everywhere. And it is what it is. Like, we're talking about somebody that is one of the best manipulators in this range. He can work. He can work. He's not going to be a super separator, but he is extremely smart and extremely intelligent when it comes to his manipulation. And you know who I comp this guy to? I comp this guy to a young Kenny Golladay. And I see the technical skills. I think they advance. Do I think he's going to be in the league for a long time? Maybe not. But I think Kelly Golladay also was here for a good time, not a long time. And that's fine with me, especially in this range. So, like I said, he's great in ISO. He's got advanced technical skills. He doesn't have the athleticism, but I think he makes up for it in his footwork and the way that he wins one-on-ones. I saw some posts from you. I know that you like this guy a lot. I hate talking about it because, once again, it goes back to, man, I don't want to be too loud about certain guys, but we have to do it, and we're doing it. What do you like about Pat Bryant, man, and why do you think he's a massive value in rookie drafts?
I will say this. It's good that there is another side pushing back on the hype, because therefore it keeps him at discount. It keeps the confusion for guys like us to go in these drafts and capitalize on that. Even with him in the situation he's in, I understand some of the pushback. You've hit on nail on the head on some of his red flags. He's not as athletic. He's in a situation where people are looking at previous situations with Sean Payton where they can't trust it. But you have to understand, Sean Payton has a type. And I think he hit the nail on the head with this type and why he went so high in the draft. There's the draft capital attached to him versus a Josh Reynolds coming off of his third team or a Devon Vele with a very low draft capital. But he has a type and he fits that mold. And this is the closest that we're going to get to a Michael Thomas when he was with the Saints. When you look at the body work, when you look at the frame, when you look at his ability in the red zone, it just screams Michael Thomas prototype. It's what Sean Payton wants in this offense, and he's finally got it. The one thing that you said, manipulation in his route running. This guy can sell you on a double move to where he's going to blow by you and create that separation that everybody says he lacks. He's one of the guys that has that good football IQ. When he was on Good Morning Football doing an interview, off camera, he was talking about, yeah, I've been watching a lot of Jamar Chase. And that's one of the things that you want with these prospects of, like, who are they watching closely and where do they see themselves in the next couple of years? If you're watching Jamar Chase, you're picking up on some of those manipulation moves that you were talking about. You're picking up on that double move that you can get that separation and win very well downfield. He's in a situation where Sean Payton's very bricked up about Bo Nix right now. When you have somebody like Bo Nix, when you watch him play, he's always rolling out of the pocket, trying to extend the plays. For guys that have separation issues, they get that second win. They get that second option to get open to create that separation. And the one thing that is not highlighted enough about Pat Bryant is the yards after the catch. And he has that in the utility belt. And when he exposes that, you're more likely going to be left in the dust, because once he puts his foot in the ground and his head is up towards the end zone, he's getting lost. By the time you realize, like, oh, crap, he hit that double move on me. Oh, crap, he hit that quick slant on me. His foot into the ground, he's already up the field. When you have an offensive mind like Sean Payton that knows what he has with his toolbox, because now we're looking at a team that he built. He got his quarterback. He got his freaking running back that we're not going to mention. He do not say his name. Keep his ADP low. I'm going to say it anyway, RJ Harvey, because I'm really excited about this Broncos offense. When you have these pieces that are being put in motion, the only lone survivor of this Broncos team that he inherited was Courtland Sutton, who's pretty damn good. So it's like one of those things, like, we're looking at the situation now. It's being built and put piece by piece by Sean Payton. This offense is going to be something to watch, and Pat Bryant is one of those targets that you need to be targeting if you don't want to pay the price on Courtland Sutton. If you want a piece of this Broncos offense, and you want the value, Pat Bryant's your guy. That's it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you have to take into account that this guy took over a team that was a mess. In his eyes, in the way that they built the offense, it wasn't what he wanted. But he was patient. He understood, you can kind of push out the pieces that you don't want and bring in the pieces that you want. And I don't know how many times we have to yell this from the mountaintops, but you have to trust how they build. Trust how they build a team. Trust who they reach for. I don't care if you guys had a hit rate of a certain percentage when it comes to guys that were overreached in drafts. And, you know, you can go off of these guys all you want and say like, okay, so-and-so was the 3rd round. This guy was the 2nd round, you know, like it is what it is, but you have to trust that he is going for somebody that he values and that he's going to at least have a role, and they're going to see what they have with him. You know, like there's a hit rate percentage of guys that have had this opportunity and don't hit. But if you're talking about a 4th or 5th round rookie pick, this is the opportunity that you want through and through. This is the guy that you want to grab. I will take this guy over a 7th round running back all day, every day. And that's what you're looking at when you're going after these guys. You're looking at guys that were taken off the wire. You know what I mean? Like he's going a range of guys that weren't even drafted. You know, I've seen many. It is insane. We're talking about a 3rd round guy that has footwork and he has technical skills.
This guy can sell a double move as good as Shane McMahon selling at Stone Cold Stunner. Like we're talking that level of like pure just manipulation of the route running and being able to disguise yourself very well in the red zone as well. Like it's one of those things where like it goes against the main like dynasty community. Like I have no smoke for them, but they do their things their way with ageism, draft capital, all that stuff. This kind of goes against their criteria because he has 3rd round draft capital on a Sean Payton offense where he's already building the pieces around. He should be heavily targeted in that 2nd, like I would say late 2nd, 3rd round where I would value him. But being that there's a resistance on his value, you're able to get him in the 4th round and just run to the bank. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me because like we talked about it a little bit before, but we're talking about Sutton, Mims, and what? Troy Franklin? Who is the offense? We are looking at a wide open depth chart. We don't even know if they really like Mims in this offense. We don't know what's going to play out, but I look at this depth chart and I'm like, Trenton Sherfield, like who is going to be that guy that's going to take away from Pat Bryant?
It's funny you mentioned those 2 guys' names when it comes to Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin. These guys are role players. They're going to be deployed at times where they want a explosive play or to fake that they're going for the deep ball explosive play. Because again, when you have a quarterback like Bo Nix that fits this offense like a glove, Bo Nix is also he's also a quarterback that would be categorized as a mobile quarterback. And I don't mean he's taken off like Lamar Jackson or Jaden Daniels or any of that type. But I would say his ability to move around in that pocket to disguise like we're going for the deep ball, you're going to want to have a Marvin Mims running up the streaks. He had the previous chemistry with Troy Franklin, but I don't look at those guys as like full-time wide receivers that are going to be on the field because we see their limited play for a reason, even when they needed guys desperately. We see Devon Vele, we see Josh Reynolds out there more than these guys because they are set pieces in the offense design and what they're going for. So when guys bring up Marvin Mims on the depth chart and they bring up Troy Franklin, I'm like, what are they honestly going to do better than Pat Bryant? I don't see.
That's what I mean. And that's why I don't understand people are going to fade Pat Bryant off his athleticism. They have 2 guys that can run a 4-3 and they're running down the seams and they're not seeing good value on this team. Yeah. They don't need another guy that can be athletic and run another 4-3. They need a guy that can get separation in the middle. They need a guy that can get separation in the slot role. And you're talking about, you know, guys that he loves. He loves these guys out of the slot. We called Michael Thomas Slant Boy for 5 years straight. Like that's what his name was, you know. He gets his money off these wide receivers running slant routes, running the middle, running little out routes. You know what I mean? He doesn't really play into the deep ball that much, and Bo Nix can throw it, but you're right. He opens up the field a lot more for these guys when he does that out, when he rushes on the outside and he's gaining a couple yards by staying in like outside of the line of scrimmage, and he'll toss it in the middle of the field. You know, like he'll extend plays, and that's what you want for a guy like this, where you say he can't get separation. He can. The technical routes, he can do go backs, he can do whatever. I think that he fits this offense.
They said the same thing about Cooper Kupp. He's not fast. He's not going to be able to separate. And now we talk to Cooper Kupp in the highest regards as a separator because, again, it comes down to the football IQ. I think that is much better to have than speed because I hate to be like a homer now, but I look at Tavon Austin as a perfect example. One of the fastest guys out there. He should be able to create the biggest separation, but he struggled to be an all-around wide receiver, just not knowing where to be at times. You could be a great separator, but you could be off mistiming with your quarterback. You have to be in sync. Pat Bryant's football IQ is up there, and I think Sean Payton is only going to attack guys who have that type of football IQ to know where to be in this offense and to execute when the opportunity is on the table for him.
Yeah. I mean, I think that we've given them enough information on this guy. I think we can
we gave them too much
right now. We gave them too much, like these are guys that we don't, I mean, I love Pat Bryant. I'm not like in love with any of these guys, but man, you got to go get these guys. You got to go get them.
And that's what I'm really in love with.
That's what I'm saying. The value is the value, and you can't turn this show into something that it's not. We are taking these guys and saying, it's free money, baby. And you can cash out. And, we did these shows with guys like Puka, we talked about in nauseum with these guys. You got to grab them. You got to go get them and hope for the best. You're going to hit 1 out of 4 every time, but we don't know which one it's going to be. We can't forecast that, but we know one of these guys is going to be amazing. I can guarantee that 1 out of 4 guys is going to hit and be way overvalued when it comes to next season. Things play out the way they play out. But brother,
I would say Pat Bryant would be that guy.
Yeah, man. I'm saying Pat Bryant is somebody that I'm okay reaching for in the 3rd round. And I can live and die by that because it feels good. The process is right. And I know what I'm getting in this guy. It's just, hey man, nothing is set in stone. Nothing is a clear cut picture. That's it, and that's what makes this content game a little hard because your hit rate can be 60%, and that's pretty good, man. But people don't remember the 60% that you hit on. They remember the 40% that you missed on.
That's the problem. I like to be the loudest on guys that I will stand on a sword for, and hopefully they hit. Sometimes they don't, but when they do, not many people are going to go out there and be like, oh, yeah, you were right. I mean, how many people last year said Jonnu Smith would be top 5? How many people said Jordan Mason will be a thing, a must draft? Not many. And I didn't get rewarded with the fantasy community telling me that I was right, but I felt good about my personal leagues. I won leagues just going off of my own advice, but you have to be as loud and as confident in your takes. You have to be loud and confident and just understand you're not going to get that reception back all the time, but just be confident in your process. And if it's right, man.
That's it, man. It's all about standing on business.
Yes.
You take the guys, you share who you love, and then, don't walk it back, but change your process. That's all it is. You don't have to stay concrete in anything, be fluid, but yeah, man. I mean, and hold on, it takes a little longer than you normally do because sometimes my takes hit years on years down the road. And I'm like, oh, well, there it is, but
that's the payoff because nobody in 2022 were talking Jordan Mason other than me, but it's fine. I took the backlash. I took the backlash on Jonnu. How many years did it take for Jonnu to finally break out?
That's it. And people forget about the breakouts and tight ends, man. It's not like it used to be. People have been spoiled by the Laportas and these guys that go in the leagues and they produce right away. That's not normal, man. Like that is not how it goes. Like go look at when Evan Ingram hit, like even TJ Hawkinson came in and was a struggle. Like these guys that are valued as top tight ends, it takes a long time, man. Like it's a very difficult position to learn, but yeah, I'm all in on Jonnu, man. I've been posting content about my man over and over again, but I didn't see that coming. I appreciate and salute you for that for sure.
My wife was not on board with the blonde hair, so that's why your boy ain't got blonde right now. But it was a good payoff.
Yeah, that's all right, bro. I mean, you got screenshots and videos, so that's all that matters. People can resurface those whenever. What do you got coming up, man? Tell everybody what you're cooking up, either on the channel or what you guys are doing personally, whatever it is.
So I'm doing cool things over at FTN Fantasy right now, man. They made me the video manager out there, so I'm hoping that we get some fire content from everybody over there in that team this entire summer and heading into in season, man. So just be on the lookout every single week, man. You'll see my face somewhere, if it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, NFL Network, whatever the case may be. But I'm just still doing cool things over there at the network, you know, with Marcus Grant and Michael Florio twice a week. Every week you'll hear us and see us. We're doing fire content only every single week. But Thursdays is really where we do the cheat sheet, which is a live show. So come interact. We're doing Florio's Film Festival. I mean, next week we got Extraction we're going to be going over. I didn't even know that Thor had a side quest of being an action hero. So I'm excited to watching that movie and kind of going over, you know, basically giving our takes on it. But, you know, I cannot wait, you know, to get into that content. And I do appreciate you inviting me up here, brother. This is one of the best things that I love doing, when you get to just chill out. Like, I really felt like we were just two dudes in a bar just sharing beers and talking ball, bro. Like, so you hit the nail on the head when it comes to setting the vibes and setting the tone.
I appreciate you, man. I always love having you on, man. Like I said, it's my boys come on here and it is so fluid and nice, and we are just hanging out, and that's what it is, man. If it wasn't 4 o'clock my time right now, I'd have a beer with you right now, man. But, you know, I got
happy hour, man. I'm
definitely. I know, man. If I didn't have a kid to pick up right now, I don't know if I want to get that started quite yet. But, bro, I appreciate you, man. If you guys aren't following The Real Deal Fantasy, man, go follow him on the X Space and go check out all the content that they're pumping out. He's everywhere, man. Like I said, he's on the moon right now. He's going for Mars. Go find him while he's on the moon, man, because once he's on Mars, he's not going to talk to you anymore. So
stop, bro. Stop.
Yeah. All right, brother. I appreciate you. Catch us tonight, guys. We're going 10 p.m. live with the Dynasty Show. I have the FF Realist on there. So we are going to be talking about the outlook for the 2025 season. We're talking about the rankings and different guys that you should be going after that could be in a tier that aren't in a tier. You know, like we're talking about targets that might not be even looked at as top assets that could be. So it's going to be a fun show. We appreciate you. LQ, I appreciate you, and we'll see you guys tonight.
Thanks, bro.
Peace.